anybody except a couple of people here at the district office. So I hope everybody had a really happy New Year and got a little rest over the holidays and was excited to be back at work for 2015. And we're starting this year out with multiple changes, and I felt like it was really important for us to start off the new year with everybody sort of being on the same page and understanding sort of where we're going for 2015, and also give everybody that's a part of the team an opportunity to ask any questions if you have any about sort of the direction that we're heading in. And what I'm going to ask you to do, because a lot of the information that I'm going to give sort of lays on top of each other. So where I would typically really stress after a slide or two for us to stop and talk, actually what I'm going to ask you to do is just bear with me and sort of let's get through the slides, because a lot of the questions I think you might have are going to be answered in the PowerPoint presentation. But if not, I see a lot of y'all have pens and paper and things like that. Just if you have a question, write it down, because I definitely want to answer your question if it doesn't get answered in the PowerPoint. So if you'll just hold your questions until the end, we'll go through and allow everybody to express any concerns or questions or anything that you have closer to the end. So let me get the PowerPoint up. Okay, can everybody see that?
No.
No? Okay. Can you see it now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, good deal.
Yes.
Great, perfect. Okay, well, this is the changes for 2015, and hopefully we've got all the staff that are listening in this morning. So this is not just specific to clerks or nutritionists or peer counselors. This is for everybody. And I would like to get someone from the call center to read our WIC program mission this morning. Read it.
I did. On the phone? Is it not doing it?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't know what you.
I told you.
To safeguard the health of low-income women, infants, and children up to age 5 who are at nutrition risk by providing nutritious foods to supplement diets, information on healthy eating, and referrals to health care.
Great, thank you, Bianca. And then for our next slide, this is a little bit of a long quote, and I'm going to ask Caroline, one of the managers from Coweta. I think she's in Coweta today. I'm going to ask you to read the quote from Jim Collins.
Okay. For no matter what we achieve, if we don't spend the vast majority of our time with people we love and respect, we cannot possibly have a great life. But if we spend the vast majority of our time with people we love and respect, people will really enjoy being on the bus with and who will never disappoint us. Then we will almost certainly have a great life no matter where the bus goes. The people we interviewed from the Good to Great companies clearly loved what they did, largely because they loved who they did it with. Jim Collins.
Great, thank you. This was a little bit of a long quote, but I felt like it was really appropriate for the new year and for sort of where we're headed in the WIC program from going from good to great. And I think we've talked about this a couple of times, but I just want to bring it home one more time about how important it is for us to enjoy who we work with, get to know who we work with, and really respect one another. We all have lots of differences that we bring to the table. We have lots of different personalities, but it's so important that we respect each other and that we work together well. And I think as we go through this morning and talk about some of the changes, that it really is going to take a team to make this work. And I'm happy to say that, I feel like we have a great team. We always have issues and concerns from time to time, but I think that Jim Collins really brings out in the book that he wrote and in this quote about how important it is for all of us to respect one another and help each other. Okay, I'm just going to start off because change is never easy. There are some changes that are coming. I've worked here for a really long time, and I have seen people that are so flexible and do great with change. They embrace change, and then I have absolutely seen the opposite as well. Some people just don't do as well with change as others do. So for those of you all that really embrace change and run with it, I just strongly encourage you to respect the other employees that you work with that may be a little more hesitant to change, and maybe help them along the way, because again, it's really going to take a team approach for some of these changes to really work. Okay, most of the information that I'm going to share with you, you should already know. So when I say change, I don't think anybody's going to find out information today that hasn't already been shared with you, but I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. And the first thing that we've done is we've updated our regions. So for this next fiscal year, District 4 is going to operate under 3 regions instead of 4. And the new regions are going to be instead of A, B, C, and D, we now have 1, 2, 3. And 1 is going to be Frida Mitchum's region. And that's going to include both clinics in Carroll County, which are Carrollton and Villa Rica. It's going to include Heard County, Troup County, both of the clinics in Meriwether, which are Greenville and Manchester, and then the Upson Clinic. And then in Region 2, under Caroline Powers, are going to be Coweta, Fayette, and Spalding. And then our Region 3 is going to be under Erica, and her region is going to include Henry, Butts, Pike, and Lamar. Now, the new regions really will go into effect March 1st. I know that some of you are already sort of in transition with that. But we've got some time, and so the only thing I really want to say is that, again, it is different. The managers have a lot more clinics and a lot more staff that they're going to have to manage, a lot more supplies to purchase, a lot more management, supervision, and operation duties. And so I really, really need the staff to step up to the plate and try to assist them any way that you can. They're going to be spread a little bit thin, and so it's really important that those of you, especially those of you interested in leadership and that want to be the lead of a county, please let Erica, Caroline, or Frida know so that you can help them in the ways that they need you to. Okay. The secondary nutrition education, as you know in WIC, when we certify our participants, during the certification period that they're enrolled in WIC, we provide nutrition education. That's what our program's all about. And the secondary nutrition education is going to be provided in a number of ways for this year. By March 1st, each clinic is going to house a computer that's going to be for participants only. And that's going to be for participants to be able to go online and complete the nutrition education modules. And as you guys know, with the online nutrition education modules, they can also do it at home, or they can go to the library, really anywhere that has a public computer that can be used. But I really felt like it was important that as a WIC clinic that we also provide access to our participants, because some of the participants that we serve don't have access to a computer. And so we're working on that. I think to date we have 1 computer that has been installed, but they're working on that, and by March 1st it should be available in every clinic. So if somebody comes in and they have not had their secondary education contact, they can be shown where the computer is. They're not going to have access to anything else. It's just going to be where they can access, I believe, our website maybe, and then the online nutrition education modules. Okay, also by March 1st, all of the WIC clinics are going to be offering the Cooking Matters classes and the Shopping Matter tours. And they're going to be offered on a weekly basis. And so, as you know, this has been a pet project of mine, something I feel really, really strongly about. I feel like it's one of the best things in my career that we've been able to offer our WIC participants. I think that in the pilot clinics, it's been going over exceptionally well, and I'm just real excited to continue that and to implement it district-wide. So by March 1st, all the clinics should be able to have that up and running. And our hopes are that this is the first choice that our participants choose when they choose nutrition education. And I really want to encourage you guys to use that nutrition education menu, show it to participants, brag about these classes and really try to encourage participation. And as you guys know, as I've talked about it, they can bring family members. If your class isn't full and there are people in the waiting room that are waiting on other services, the more the merrier. So we're trying to keep those just as open as we can. This is a picture of the menu Gwenna presented quite a while back. You can add to it. I know that some of the clinics have talked to me about actually adding the class times at the bottom of each of the menu items. But again, this is something, if you have not started using it, I really encourage you to use it. It's got little brief descriptions about each of the education classes that we offer. It's got the Feeding Your Infant, the FYI. It's got the Cooking Matters, the Shopping Matters. There's a menu item for the online nutrition education, and then the monthly nutrition classes are on there as well. So if you have not been using this, I really encourage you to get it out. You can laminate it however you want to use it, but make sure that you use it and give our participants choices, because I think the choices that we provide is what's going to help with participation. Okay, also by March 1st, all of our WIC clinics are going to have access to a WIC nutritionist that's going to be leading a facilitated group discussion on the video conference equipment. So every day except Thursday, we are going to have 8:30 and 3:30 classes. And any clinic can get on at 8:30 and 3:30. We have developed a schedule of what clinics will get on what days, but I also want people to know that, other than Thursday, they're always there. So, if somebody comes in and they don't want to do the online and it's 3:30 and you know that there's a class on, you can always access that. On Tuesdays, I'm happy to say that the group discussions are going to be offered in Spanish. I want to thank Dahlia in Fayette County for that. She's going to be teaching the classes, and actually, I think on Tuesday it's at 9 and 3:30 instead of 8:30 and 3:30. But those classes will be taught in Spanish. So for all of our participants that don't speak English or that struggle with that language, we can make them appointments for Tuesday. Okay, on the for the secondary nutrition education with the Cooking Matters, we've got our WIC nutrition educators, and the nutrition education requirements for the WIC program are mostly going to be provided by 3 people in the district. So Darlene Brown, everybody knows Darlene. She's been, pretty much on the forefront with the Cooking Matters and the shopping tours. And she is sort of the lead in that group. And then we also have Carrie Welch that works part-time that is also helping with the Cooking Matters and the shopping tours. And then I sent an email out. I've gotten some interest from some of you about filling the vacancy so that we have a 3rd nutrition educator that can continue to implement the Cooking Matters and the shopping tours across District 4. So just to explain this a little bit differently, in the clinic, the nutritionists are basically going to be doing certifications and recertifications and food package changes. Really, the secondary nutrition ed is going to be provided by this team either through Cooking Matters, Shopping Matters, or the VICs, the facilitated group discussions, the monthly nutrition classes that are going to be offered. The nutritionists in the clinic are not going to be doing that anymore. Darlene, Carrie, and whoever fills our vacancy are going to be responsible for teaching those, and you'll be able to access those on the video conference equipment. So for those of you that are CPAs that are in the clinic that are currently teaching some of the classes and things like that, that won't be your responsibility anymore. It will be provided by our WIC nutrition educators. And this is just a reminder about your nutrition education class list. Again, if you have participants that are not necessarily interested in cooking matters or shopping matters or the online nutrition education, this is a list of what is being taught every month by the nutrition educators. It's our topic of the month. So be sure, again, this is something else you need to have easy access to. It needs to be posted in clinic. You need to have it sitting close to your desk so that you can talk to participants about the things that are going to be offered. And remember, too, that a lot of the appointments that we give are 2 and 3 months off. So, sometimes you've got to look down the list for the month that they're going to return to encourage the appropriate class for the time frame that they're coming in. Okay, that was all secondary nutrition education. Now let's talk about the high-risk nutrition education. So by March 1st, all of the high-risk WIC participants are going to be provided nutrition counseling by a registered dietitian, and that's either going to be in person or, again, using the video conference equipment. Okay, and we've really been able to build our RD staff in WIC. We've got Lindsay, and she's going to be assigned to providing the high-risk nutrition education in Troop, Villarica, and Carroll. And then we've got Ryan, and he is going to work out of the Upson Clinic, and he's going to be providing high-risk nutrition education in that clinic and also for the Manchester, Greenville, Heard, and Carroll County clinics. And then we have Tricia Scarlett. She works part-time out of the Griffin Clinic, and she's going to be there to provide the high-risk nutrition for those participants. And then Shaquila, who works out of Coweta, she's going to be providing all the high-risk nutrition services for the Coweta and the Fayette participants. And then Jessica Ryan is going to be housed in Henry, and she's going to be providing the high-risk nutrition services for the Henry County participants. And then Carly Adams, who's also going to be housed out of Henry, is going to be providing high-risk nutrition education for the participants there in Henry, and then also Butts, Pike, and Lamar. And this is a big change because we have not been providing a lot of services through the video conference equipment. And so I'm really encouraging everybody to get on the video conference, even if it's just if you need to call a clinic, try calling them on the video conference, because we've really got to get used to using this and to our participants using it. And so the great thing about this model, and let me just throw in there too that District 4 was actually, we've never been the last in anything. I don't think the whole time that I've been here, but we were the very last district to get the video conference equipment. And so we're behind. This kind of service delivery is being provided all over the state. So this is not, while I always like to say we're state of the art and we're the first ones to do this, we're not. This is being successfully done all over the state of Georgia, and it's a very good tool. It's, of course, extremely cost efficient. So that if you see the list that I've got up there, even though we've got RDs that are covering multiple clinics, they won't be traveling there. We won't have the cost of travel. They'll be able to do that from their office. But what that's going to take is it's really going to take some teamwork on the part of the clinics where they're not physically located. It is a much different model than what we're used to. We're used to when participants come in, we do intake on them, and they go and they sit with the registered dietitian in person. And so it's going to take that clinic staff. You're going to have to greet them, and you're going to have to weigh them and measure them, and then you're going to have to put them in a room and sort of, initially show them how to use the equipment. And so it is going to be a little bit different model. It's not going to be easy at first. It's going to take some time to get used to how it works. But it can work, and I know it will work. And I'm real excited about the way that we're going to be able to do this. The other thing that I really like about this is, even though we've got RDs that are assigned to specific clinics, as you all know, oftentimes the high-risk nutrition participants don't show up. And so the great thing about that is, if you're busy in another clinic, or an RD's gotten tied up with maybe a really, high-risk situation in a clinic, we are working with our IT department to come up with a technology way that we can get in touch with the other RDs, so that at all times an RD should be available. With this many RDs, we should be able to get in touch with somebody somewhere if somebody comes in and needs this service. So I'm excited about that too. I think it really opens the door for opportunities for participants that show up that need to talk to a registered dietitian, and them having access to that. So I'm real excited about that as well. Now, with all of these changes, we've also had to develop a new appointment system. So the WIC appointment system has been completely revised. It's been completely updated to accommodate not only the new technology that we're implementing, but also the new schedule of all the educational events that we have going on now. So we have WIC columns that are different than what the WIC columns used to be. We have all new WIC service codes, and of course the staffing standards have changed as well. As you can see, the roles of some of the staff are changing, and so it's making the staffing standards change as well. And the new appointment system is going to go into effect on March 1st, but we completely revised it, and it's in the system because, as you guys know, as people are coming in now, we're actually making appointments for March and April, and so it's in the system. We already sent it out via email. I know some of the managers have already gone over the new codes and that kind of stuff, but I just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page and really understood that this was completely new. Okay, you should have a copy of, it's 2 pages, and it's the WIC appointment schedule, because you may not can see it real well on the video. But as you see, we have the WCE columns, which are for all the certifications, and underneath that column, you will see a list of all of the service codes that should be placed in that column. So when you're making an appointment, for example, if you have a new prenatal, you're going to use the service code CER/PN. And if I don't stress anything else today, I want to stress the incredible importance of using the proper service code. It is probably the most important thing that you can do in your day, is to make sure that the appointments that you make are using the proper service codes. And let me tell you, for example, one of the reasons why. I haven't gotten to the slide yet, but the auto dialer is going to be revamped as well. And the auto dialer uses the service codes to call participants to remind them of their appointments. So if you have someone in the system with the wrong service code, they're either not going to get a phone call, or they're going to get a phone call that tells them something different than what they need to be told. So this is critical. This is very, very important. And I want to stress to you that we have made the appointment schedule in a way that in the past, if you had somebody that needed something, you just stuck it somewhere. We're not doing that anymore at all. If there isn't a spot to place the person in the column, there isn't an appointment slot, then you'll have to find one. It might not be on the day or at the time of their first choice. We may have to go with their second choice, but we're not going to be putting any service codes except in the columns that they belong. And what I've got the managers doing is they're going to be spot checking that. At the end of the day, they're going to be looking at the appointments and making sure that all the staff are making the proper service codes in the proper columns. They may also ask for some of you that are really detail-oriented employees. They may ask you to assist them with that. And if you know that you're a real detail-oriented employee, you might want to volunteer and let your manager know, hey, this is something I could do at the end of the day. I don't mind checking to see if the appointments are being made properly. And this is not to tattletale on people or to get people in trouble. This is a training issue. This is so that we all get on board. These are different codes than what we're used to using. And I understand that it takes time. But I also understand that we need to do it properly. And so I think by checking each other and making sure that these codes are done right, and correcting them when errors are made, that we can be on the track of working this right. So again, we have the WCE columns, which are for certifications. They're for in-state transfers, out-of-state transfers, half certs, mid-certs. As you can see, the list is long in that column. And all of these different types of appointments will be made in those columns. The reason it says WCE1-WCE4 at the top is because we have some clinics that only need one column for certifications. We have some clinics that need up to 4. And so that's why there's WCE1, WCE2, 3, and 4. Okay, the next column is NE1, and for big clinics it may be NE2, and this is for nutrition. And this is where we appoint people that are going to participate with the online modules, also for food package changes, or for people that need individual nutrition education. Now, when I say individual nutrition education, what really needs to go there is for family members that, let's say one child's being certified and another child needs nutrition education, and they want to do it together with the same CPA. Those are the people that get appointed in that column. We're not really making appointments for individual nutrition education. These are literally family members that need nutrition education that are going to be coming in with a certification. The next column is for the RDs. This is the RDHR, and these are the high-risk nutrition appointments. These are all the appointments that you're going to schedule for the RD that's assigned for your clinic. The NHRN are they're high risk that are not necessarily going to be done by the RD. Again, this is just like the individual nutrition education. These are family members that that are coming in, that one of the family members receiving a certification and maybe one of the other family members needs high risk nutrition, and rather than making them see 2 different providers, the CPA would just do both. And this is where you would appoint those people, is in that column. And then the last column is the WPU, which is the pickup only. And so we're going to assign people that only need to come in and pick up vouchers in this column. And then also in-state transfers that only need vouchers. They can go in this column as well. So this is strictly pickup only, and that's how you'll want to use that column. If you go to the second page, this is where the class columns are. There's the FYI, and this is the Feeding Your Infant class. That's for pregnant women, breastfeeding women, and breastfeeding infants. They can all go in these classes that are taught by our peer counselors. And there are classes at 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, and 2, depending on your clinic. Every clinic has a different time. And so if you're in a clinic and your FYI classes are always at 10 o'clock, then you'll use class 10 as your service code for those participants. And it's the same format for the Cooking Matters classes. Those are offered in every clinic, either at 10 or 1. And depending on your clinic, you'll know, and you'll want to make those appointments for those people either at 10 or at 1. Same thing for Shopping Matters. What we've done with the Shopping Matters tours is we are going to offer those once a month because we don't have the participation with those like we do in the other classes, and because they're not at the clinic site. And so one time a month in every clinic, it doesn't matter what size clinic you have, but once a month there's going to be a grocery store tour, and those are also assigned at 10 and 1 o'clock. So depending on your clinic and the time that Darlene and her team are teaching that shopping tour, you'll make the appointment at that time. The general class, I think I've already talked about that. Those are always at 8:30 and 3:30, and they're offered every day except for Thursdays. And then our Spanish classes are at 9 and 3:30 on Tuesdays. And so, again, those are the times that you can appoint our Spanish-speaking participants to participate in classes. We've also made the appointment system for the classes so that no more than 10 participants per class can be scheduled, and that's not counting family members. That means 10 separate participants per class. I already talked about this. Because of the new appointment system, new appointment columns, and new service codes, we've got to completely update and revise the auto dialer system, and we're going to be busy working on that for the whole month of January, so that when March begins, participants with March appointments will be called and contacted and given messages over the telephone regarding specifically what their service code is, specifically what their appointment is made for. Okay, we also have made changes to the clinic operations. Some of the smaller clinics' operational dates and times have been revised, and this is either due to the low caseload, the low staff productivity, or just the really high cost of keeping those clinics open and not seeing the large numbers of people that we need to. So here are some revisions. This is Region 1, which it looks like a lot, but Villa Rica is now going to be open Tuesday through Friday. They're going to be closed on Mondays. Heard County is going to be open 6 days a month. They're going to be there every Thursday and then on the second and fourth Friday. In Manchester, they're going to also be open 6 days a month. They're going to be there every Monday and then also on the first and third Friday. Greenville is going to be open 8 days a month, so they're going to be there every Tuesday and every Wednesday. And then Upson is going to be open Tuesday through Friday. They're going to also be closed on Monday. And then the Troop and the Carroll clinics, because of their size, are going to be open Monday through Friday. In Region 2, she's got 3 large clinics, Coweta, Fayette, and Spalding, and they're going to remain open Monday through Friday. And then in Region 3, Butts County is going to be open 3 days a week, so they're going to be there Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and they're going to be closed on Monday and Friday. And then Lamar is going to be open 10 days a month, and so they're going to be there every Monday and Wednesday, and then also on the first and third Tuesday. Pike County is going to be open 6 days a month, so they're going to be there every Thursday and then the second and fourth Tuesday. And then Henry, of course, is going to be open Monday through Friday. Your WIC regional managers, they're meeting with the county nurse managers. Most of them have already met with everybody, and they're going to review the new schedule, and they're going to develop plans to coordinate and collaborate services. And you know, as you know, some of the WIC days have changed, and this affects the health department's schedule because they make appointments to see our participants on those days that they're open. So it's really, really important. Coordination of services is still really, really a high priority. Even if we have fewer clinic days, we really want to coordinate and make referrals and collaborate with the health department. So it's real important that we work together on this, even with the changes. What I want to stress to the staff that are going to the smaller clinics is, not to have anxiety. I think initially that you may think, oh my gosh, how am I going to be able to do this in fewer days? One thing I want to tell you is, you will be busy. You're gonna be busier. We don't have more than 15 certifications scheduled in a day. That's padded. Most of you don't need 15 certification appointments in a day. Again, it's padded because of the no-show rate. But again, on the days that you're there, you should not have very much downtime. You should be really busy while you're there. We're trying to make the most of the time that you're there in the clinic. And we're going to monitor this. So this is something that we're going to look at. We're going to look at the numbers. We're going to look at the clinic flow. We're going to look at all those kinds of things and how they're working. And if it's something we need to change, we will. But for right now, we've made a commitment to try it. Again, this is nothing new. This is happening all over the state where they're using a lot of the technology, and it doesn't require the smaller clinics to be open as often because so many of the services can be done through technology that we don't need to be open as many days. So anyway, if you have questions or concerns about that, I really encourage you to talk to your regional manager, or of course you can give me a call. Okay, on the technology, all the video conference equipment, it's in the process of being moved to smaller, more portable carts, because that's been one of our barriers, is that a lot of the video conference equipment are on these gigantic carts that we can't move around very easily in the clinic. And so that's one thing that's in the process of being done. It will, that work will be done by our March deadline. Also, additional ports have got to be added in the clinic. In the RD office, if they're going to be providing all these services that way, we have to make sure that they're ports so that they can have the video conference equipment in their office. Also, in the clinics where the RD won't be, we have to have a room that has a port in it that the participant can sit in and actually get the services from the video conference. So all those are in the process of being worked out so that our technology can work in our clinic. I already told y'all about the computer that's being added, that's going to be used by all the participants. We are also working on the electronic signatures for all the WIC staff. That's being installed in the computer so that when you provide services through the video conference equipment, that electronic signatures can be provided so that we can do all of our work in an electronic way and keep the records in the clinic where they need to be. The auto dialer, that's also a technology change that we're working on. And then lastly, the Mitchell and McCormick, we're working with our computer software company because right now the WIC screens don't accept the electronic signatures. And so we're working on that. Also for the RDs, we are working on the macros to be added to make filling out that electronic ADIME form a little bit easier. And also, if it hasn't been done already, because I haven't checked on it this week, but they're moving the forms so that you don't have to go out of M&M to get the ADIME form and go back into M&M to look at the growth chart. They're adding all of that into the forms in the M&M screen. So that's going to make the access to those forms a little bit easier as well. Okay, I'm going to open this up for questions. I know you have lots of questions or concerns that you may have. In the interest of time, if it's something that you think that your regional manager can answer for you, then I encourage you to go to them. But if there's anything that I can answer for you, or any comments that anybody has to make, we'll open up the microphones at this time and have people express those concerns or questions that they may have.
Blanche, this is Geneva.
Yes. Hey, Geneva.
With the classes that they're doing online, as a nutritionist now, we do a little paper for the clerks on a monthly basis, letting them know what to put in. Now, I know the nutrition educators will now be doing the classes. Will they let the clerks know what to put in for the nutrition education now, or will the in-clinic nutritionists have to still let them know monthly what they'll put in when they get ready to print vouchers?
Regional managers? Is that going to be
Blanche.
something specific to what y'all are doing? That sounds like a clinic procedure.
Blanche. Blanche.
Yes?
That schedule that you sent out, where it says like January what the topic is. Where's that paper? That's all the clerks need.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The class schedule they need to follow, the clerks need to have those at their window so
Yeah,
that
that
they
one.
can see what's being taught each
I
month
know
and they
the
can
only-
check what it is.
The only thing they'll need is just the initials of whoever's
Clerk's
teaching it
initials.
that day, but it's pretty standard as long as
That's
nobody's
it.
filling in.
Yeah, right now Darlene is going to be teaching all of these, and that can change. But right now she's doing those, so you would use Darlene's initials, and this is what everybody's referring to. The clerks would use this, so it's the month of January, so it's drink more water and limit sugary drinks is the topic. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am, it does. I guess I was kind of, making it a little bit easier for my clerks. I would always let them know exactly what to check. And I know with that, it was just the title of the class. So I just wanted to make sure that, that was clear for them to know that they can just look at it and they'll be able to check something that's around the lines of what's listed on the paper. So we'll all have to make sure that we have that.
Okay. Other questions? I can't believe with all that information that y'all don't have questions.
Hey Blanche, it's Carly. I have a question.
Okay, hey Carly.
So with the ADIME form, you were saying that M&M was working on putting it on the actual WIC screen. So I can actually access the ADIME form from the WIC screen, except for I can't go back and forth. Like once I open up the ADIME form from the WIC screen, it won't let you go back to the WIC screen. You can only stay on the ADIME form. So that's a glitch that you may want to let them know. Because I thought, oh, it's here now. I got very excited about it, but then I couldn't get back to the WIC screen to put in the growth chart and look at that with the parents.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that feedback, and I will get with M&M because that's really and if y'all will continue to let me know stuff like that, they have been real easy to work with, but not always timely. And so I kind of have to nag them a little bit. So thank you for giving me that feedback, and I'll actually get with him today because that is one of the issues. It takes the RDs a little longer because of that form, and we want to make that process a little bit easier. And those are the kinds of things that can make a visit, not last so long, and your ability to do more high-risk nutrition throughout the day when you don't have glitches like this. So thank you, and I'll get with him, and I'll get back to you on what he tells me.
Okay, thanks.
Blanche.
Yes.
I just wanted to clarify for the in-house computers for online education, it doesn't mean, oh, hey, you just did your research, now go sit at this computer and do your online. It's like, okay, I'm going to print you 3 months worth of vouchers, and if they come back in at that time and they're like, oh, I wasn't able to do my online because I didn't have a computer or something, then you can say, oh, hey, let me put you in this room and you can use this computer to do it.
Yes. Yeah, it doesn't mean that if you get certified and you're waiting on vouchers that you can't use the computer for online nutrition ed. It's open at any time, but yes, it's specifically there. You gave a great example of somebody that comes in for vouchers and has not had their secondary nutrition ed, it's there exactly for those reasons. Pretty much what y'all are doing now is grabbing a nutritionist to do it, and you don't really need to do that. They'll have access to that computer. But the only point I want to make is that it's not limited to that. We want the online nutrition education modules to be used anytime. If somebody comes in for a food package change and they want to get on there and use it, they'll be welcome to. Like, I'm real excited that we have access for them to a computer to do the online nutrition ed module. So yes, it's open for any time, but it's specific for the reason exactly the situation that Casey described. Other questions? Well, okay. If you think of questions after you get off of the video conference, you know, I'm here today. You can give me a call. You can send me an email. I text. You can send me a text. You can call me on the video conference equipment. That would be even greater. I would love to interact with you guys in that way. I think that would help everybody use it better. But if you have any feedback, concerns, suggestions, glitches that you know about, anything like that that you might think might hinder this process, please, I'm very, very open to feedback and suggestions. I really, really want these changes that we've implemented to work. I think that where we're headed with this, with the choices for the participants and the access to computers and the technology that we're using, is really going to help our participation. I think that these are all really good things for the WIC program and that will help us move from good to great. And so I appreciate your time. I know it was a lot of information thrown at you at one time. So again, Happy New Year, and please let me know if you have any questions or concerns. All right. Thanks.